So thank you everybody for coming. There's some new faces and a lot of familiar faces, which is, it's great. It's nice to see both. So this is the first meeting of CWEEL New England. And I think most people here are pretty familiar with what CWEEL is, but for anyone who doesn't, CWEEL is the Council on Women in Energy and Environmental Leadership. And we're very lucky to have two speakers here today. We have Laurie Wigan Jackson, who is one of the founders of CWEEL, and Marianne McGowan, who is a award-winning CWEEL celebrity. And I think Laurie will talk a lot more about CWEEL to get everyone excited about it. But in short, CWEEL supports the role of women in the energy and environmental fields. And they do this through their 4 pillars, which are career development, mentorship, scholarships, and networking. And CWEEL's been around for a few years, but more recently, there's been a push to grow more local groups, both to support AAE's diversity goals. They're part of this Equal by 30 campaign, and also to create more of a local community for women to network and learn more about regional efforts in energy and the environment. So we're very fortunate to be in a region where there are a lot of other, or several other women's organizations and women's organizations that are specifically focused in energy. And I hope that we have the opportunity to collaborate with them. I think more is better. And CWEEL is also very fortunate to be backed by AE. And so we can provide some interesting training opportunities, the great scholarship program, the mentorship program, and again, also keep it at a local or regional level where we can network with other people in the area. So I'm very excited that CWEEL is pursuing this initiative to have these regional groups. I first learned about CWEEL, as I think a lot of people did, at the AAE conferences back when we were going to conferences in person, and the CWEEL sessions, the power hours, and those are always the most inspirational and motivating, interesting, educational. So I was really energized after I went to the CWEEL meetings at the AE conferences. So I was very excited for this opportunity to get more involved in CWEEL. And if anyone else is on the same page as me and is excited to get more involved, please join me and Andrea in helping to make this our CWEEL group, not just my CWEEL group, but contribute and volunteer and share your ideas. And I just realized that I haven't even introduced myself because I was so excited to talk about CWEEL, but my name is Hadass Webb, and I had the energy analytics group at a technology-enabled consultancy called Symmetrics, which is based in Boston. And I'm the CWEEL group lead. So I'm in charge of establishing the group and recruiting members to join me. And Andrea is one of the people that I recruited, and she is the CWEEL liaison. Do you want to introduce yourself, Andrea?
Sure. Thanks, Hadass. My name is Andrea Mosier. I'm a program manager at National Grid. I work in both Massachusetts and Rhode Island, but I am based in Rhode Island. And yeah, I think I've had that sort of a similar introduction to CWEEL as Hadass. So I was excited about the having a local chapter. And so when Hadass reached out and asked me to help, I was excited to do that. I've known Hadass a long time, but we haven't really worked together that much. So it was exciting from that standpoint too. And yeah, I'm looking forward to, there's just so many talented women that I know in this industry in our area. And so I'm excited to really tap all that potential.
Before I hand it over to Laurie, I did want to go over the responses to one of the questions that I asked in the registration form, which is, what do you hope to get out of CWEEL New England? And the most common answer was networking, connecting with other like-minded women in New England who are in the energy and environmental space. And you don't have to be an engineer. Some of the women that have joined us are in marketing or finance or in policy. If you have an interest in energy and the environment or leadership, and promoting the voices of women in those fields. We'd love to have you. So after networking, the second most common theme was learning about the energy industry. People are here to get training and education about energy, about current energy issues, and more specifically in New England, clean energy opportunities, and in general, gaining a broader perspective about energy and the environment. Another thing people mentioned was professional development and career opportunities. Hopefully this is a great way to see what other people are doing and what jobs are out there. Give back and inspire other women, and support and promote the voices of women in the industry. So I love all of these answers, and I hope that we come up with some great programming ideas during this meeting to help address all of those things that people will hope to get out of this group. So now I'm very excited to introduce Laurie Wigan Jackson, who is one of the founders of CWEEL. She also founded her own business called Utility Advantage and has been very active with both CWEEL and AAE, and supporting diversity efforts outside of AAE and CWEEL, and coaching other businesses on increasing their diversity. Laurie, I hope I did some justice to your decades of experience, but let me hand it over to you. I'm going to stop sharing, and you should be able to share. Let me know if you can't.
Yeah. Wow, I have way too many things open. There we go. All right, let's see if I can enlarge this. And let me see if I can do slideshow. Okay, can everyone see the slideshow?
Yes.
Great. Okay. So yeah, thank you so much for the introduction. And I will share that being an entrepreneur is one of the most exciting things that I've done in my career. I love doing business startups and working with clients, and it just kind of works well for being an entrepreneur. Most recently, I expanded the business into providing support for utility or state managed energy efficiency programs, and we're providing outreach and inspections and incentive application reviews and lots of different kinds of both technical and administrative and outreach support. And it is just been a fantastic experience over the past year. It's really growing the business. So I'm excited about that. And I'm equally as excited about what's happening with CWEEL, because as Hadass mentioned, we have this initiative where we're growing local groups both around the United States and globally, and it has really also taken off. So between 2020 and 2021, this has been a great season for myself personally in terms of business, and also for CWEEL. So what I'm going to do tonight is just walk you through some of the important information that you need to know about CWEEL and what we do, and then I'm happy to answer questions when we wrap things up or as we go into breakout groups. So we are a division of the Association of Energy Engineers, and I really appreciate what Hadass mentioned. There's sort of two preconceived notions around that. One is that you have to be an engineer to be a part of CWEEL, and that is not true. As I said, we have people from varying backgrounds that participate in both CWEEL and AEE that are able to get certifications that are great for career development in our industry. So we welcome people from all different backgrounds. And the second is that it is an organization just for women. And while we are absolutely focused on the issue of developing more diversity, and specifically around bringing more women into the energy and environmental fields, this organization is for men and women. And in part because men are still very much in those positions of great influence in our industry, and are willing to be mentors and supporters, and we appreciate that. And so this organization is for men and women. But we provide a network, specifically a place for women in our industry where we can come together and support each other in a variety of ways. And we do that in the areas of career development, career advancement, and women fulfilling themselves in the energy and environmental fields with programming, outreach, and mentorship. Hold on. There we go. And we also provide scholarships for women who are pursuing technical education. And we are starting to provide scholarships for training initiatives as well, and even potentially attending conferences. So where people would have some challenges, where perhaps their companies aren't supportive of them participating in terms of covering expenses, we're looking at ways that we can help to address that, to make it more feasible for women to attend and participate in these events. And so our goal is to increase the diverse membership of AEE and our industry, and specifically at AEE by involving women at all levels of participation and leadership in CWEEL and in AEE. And the website is cweel.org. So I encourage you to go and visit our website. So I talked about kind of this growth that's happening, and it really started with us identifying individuals at AEE chapters who would take on the role of being the liaison between CWEEL and the local AEE chapter. And so we now have 39 men and women from various chapters around the United States and Canada and globally that have CWEEL representation and support CWEEL local activities. We have this in 2020 joined the Equal by 30 campaign. If you're not familiar with it, again, I would encourage you to go to equalby30.org. But this is a commitment to work towards equal pay, equal leadership, and equal opportunities for women in the clean energy sector by 2030. And what you can see here is that there are governments that have signed on to this, including the United States, as well as nonprofit and for-profit businesses that have signed on to this commitment. And this list continues to grow, but we're very excited. And CWEEL's playing an integral part in how we achieve these objectives. So in terms of the value that we've been providing our members, for those of you who are new to CWEEL, first is around the area of career and professional development. We have leadership guest lecture series. We have specifically, and that could be technical types of lecture series. We have also career and professional development series around those topics. Provide training. We have a quarterly newsletter and an annual CWEEL edition. This year, 2021 is the first year this launched, of an AEE journal, which provides opportunity. This was an all-women authored AEE journal, so it's an opportunity to be published, which is always exciting. We have a mentoring program, and it's interesting because usually when we ask the question, what do you hope to get from out of participating in CWEEL, the mentorship program comes up to the top. So I found it really interesting to see the answers that were presented from this group. But we do have an excellent mentoring program that matches mentors and mentees. It provides custom support, inspiration, guidance, tools that help people plan career development and their own professional growth with one-on-one and group meetings. So we do bring our mentor-mentee pairs together from time to time so that they can share with each other some of their experiences and certainly best practices. And we help people to expand their career opportunities, overcome obstacles or challenges that they're facing, and really focus on personal growth and satisfaction. And we also work with corporate clients to provide guidance and to integrate their internal mentorship programs with our external mentoring program. the thing that rose to the top of your list was networking and community. And that is a really important aspect of CWEEL. You know, we have a global network of women in the energy and environmental industries. So for me, that's probably one of the most exciting aspects of working together with women in our industry is that, you know, I've expanded now from my circle of, personal contacts in the industry to this amazing global network of women that are so inspiring and talented. And, we share our experiences. You develop relationships that can help you to advance your career, find new job opportunities, or again, just to grow, and to use your talents in ways that perhaps you hadn't had the opportunity to before through volunteer and leadership opportunities, working in CWEEL committees and in the AE local chapters. And then the fourth thing is around scholarships for academic programs and training. So we work with the AEE Foundation to provide scholarship monies that encourage qualified scholars in energy management, energy engineering, sustainability, and STEM education. And we're very proud of the work that we do there. So, working in CWEEL really makes an impact by supporting women to be successful in our energy and environmental fields, but it's also a pathway to making lifelong friendships with peers and others in the industry, and I can personally attest to that. And then I did want to give a plug. I know for some of us, when we got on early, our hopefully next in-person event will be happening at AE World in New Orleans in October. So if you are interested or would like to join together in person with this global network, that AE World event is the place where that happens. And we have great breakfast and afternoon receptions. And I'm very hopeful that we'll be able to meet in person this year. I'm not going to go through all of our amazing board members, but I will tell you that these are extremely accomplished women who have decided to volunteer their time to be a part of this organization. And each of the board members of CWEEL chairs a committee. And what I would encourage you to do is to take a look at this list of committees and consider where would your skills and talents best be utilized. And understand that as women coming together as volunteers, we all recognize that everyone has different things happening in their jobs, in their personal lives. So if you are looking at volunteering, know that it would be very custom to your situation. We have like our scholarships and awards committee that only meets, once a year to look at awards, for example, and scholarships. And so it isn't a heavy lift, but it's extremely important work. And again, there are other committees as well where, you could just put in a few hours, or you could put in as much as you are willing to, because there's always work to be done. So I just wanted to share with you the committees. We have both US-based committees, and we actually have 3 international committees as well. And in terms of our structure, we are part of AEE, and AE itself has regional vice presidents and then local chapters. And where CWEEL fits in terms of what we're talking about today, is forming a CWEEL local group that is aligned with the AEE chapter. So we are not our own, say, legal entity. We are really a part of the local AEE chapter. But as we develop the CWEEL group in New England, you may decide that you need to have your own advisory board, which you can do. And you may also decide at some point that you would like to form one or more CWEEL student groups with local colleges and universities, which there are so many in New England. So there's lots of ways for CWEEL to develop in terms of that group. And again, it's really as much as you all want to put into it is what will evolve and develop over the next year and into the future. CWEEL groups can host separate networking events or even training events, other types of events. They can do that in conjunction with their local AE chapter, focusing on advancing women in energy. And the whole focus of this is around increasing the diversity of our local chapters and our industry. And we'll make this presentation available to anyone who's interested. If you aren't already a member of CWEEL, the way you become a member is to go to aeecenter.org and click on memberships and chapters and click on join AEE. And there's information that you'll see in terms of selecting membership, and you will be able to scroll down and select CWEEL under divisions. I think currently it's showing $30, but our membership fee is planning to increase to $50 in June. And in addition to that, if you are not a current AEE member, if you enter CWEEL 50 in the coupon code, that would give you a 50% discount on AEE membership. And that is only for first time AEE, like new AEE members. So if you're already an AE member, you really just need to add CWEEL under divisions to your membership. And then last, I just want to add that we do have corporate memberships. And if anyone is interested in expanding this to talk to their companies about becoming CWEEL corporate members, we're happy. We have a team that is focused on that. We'd be happy to talk about it. We provide discounted memberships. We provide 3 free memberships. We provide opportunities for, corporate recognition at our events, company logo on the website, leadership opportunities, speaking opportunities. And again, we are supporting mentoring programs within organizations by bringing our CWEEL mentoring program to the organization and coordinating and sharing our best practices and supporting those efforts. So that was a lot of information to cover. Again, as Hadass said, this organization will be what you guys want it to be collectively as a group. And we're very excited to see what you'd like to do and know that the board and the resources of CWEEL and AEE are here to support your success and to make this an amazing CWEEL group. So thank you for coming today, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, Laurie. You talked about joining the different committees and contributing in a way that is meaningful for you. And I joined a committee, the fundraising committee, because I had no skills to contribute to that committee. It was an opportunity for me to expand my skill set in an area where I don't have an opportunity at my day job. So I really appreciated that chance to try something new in a casual environment where people do understand that we have lives, we have families, we have jobs, but we're all here working for the same cause. And I haven't been very intimately involved in CWEEL for very long, but it really is starting to feel like a family. So it is a great networking opportunity and very welcoming. So thank you, Laurie. And I'm very excited to hear Marian McGowan speak. She is a CWEEL celebrity, in my opinion. Like I said earlier, she has won awards. She's worked for Duke Energy for many years. And Laurie, do you want to do a little intro for Marianne? Because I feel like you could do it justice better than I could, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here to introduce Marianne, and she has again worked for Duke Energy for many years, but now works for the utility group and is, is it strategic director? Yeah, I'm not going to have your title in front of me, Mary Ann, so I feel a little bad about that, but you can correct me wherever I don't have the right information. But what I think is most important, and of course our careers really matter, but Mary Ann is the board member at CWEEL who oversees marketing and communications. And she's responsible for our newsletter, for our website, for our social media, some very important aspects of CWEEL. And in addition to that, she recently, in 2020, received recognition for her contributions to CWEEL and the work that she is doing to promote STEM education and working with young girls and women in Ohio, where she's from. And as he said, there's much activity that Mary Ann does in addition to CWEEL, because this is a passion for her in terms of working with women and with young girls and helping them to develop careers in STEM and in our industry. So Mary Ann is such an advocate for all women, and a great role model and a tremendous leader. And we're so thankful to have her here today to speak to the group.
Well, thanks, Laurie. That's more than I deserve.
And she's very humble.
You've got the slides up. I don't have to share. Oh,
would you rather share?
Let me see if I can get it up quickly.
Okay, let me stop the share.
Okay.
Give you a chance. Either way,
let's see if this works. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. So it's always
that's why we have backup.
I know. So let me see if I can get this.
We're seeing it.
Oh, woo! We have had more than our fair share of problems with shared screens. Okay, good. We're good. We're ready to roll. So I thought today I'd talk a little bit about diversity and inclusion and how that equates to a higher degree of success. So I'm going to speak a little bit about examining women's impact across industries, and I'll talk about the industries in a minute, but we're going to look at it in 4 different segments. So we're going to look at the contribution to profitability and competitiveness that gender diversity brings, contributing to environmental sustainability, and also contributing to the corporate social responsibility, and then creating an industry and a corporate inclusive culture. So those are the 4 pieces that we're going to focus on. Now, the industries that we're going to look at, and we're doing this because this is where I have data. Okay, as energy, which is going to include oil, gas, and coal, consumer products, which is going to be on alcohol and tobacco, utilities and waste services, which is going to include electric and gas utilities, and then environmental services and water utilities. So,
hey, Mary Ann, real quick, the slides aren't advancing. Like, we're still seeing the title slide, and I know you're going on to like slide 3.
I am. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's stop the share. Back to us to see if she can bring that back up. Thank you, Laurie. I thought you waved at me. I thought I was muted, and then I saw I wasn't muted. So I was like, oh. Okay, so that was the impacts that we're going to cover, those 4 impacts. The next slide should be on the industries. Ta-ta. Okay. Sorry about the technology issues, ladies and gentlemen. So we talked about energy, consumer products, utilities, and waste services. In materials, I wanted to make sure you knew that we were covering paper and forest products, construction materials, containers and packaging, metals and mining, and chemicals. And then in the industrials, the industries contributing were aerospace and defense, construction, and engineering. So I think that's a good breadth of industries. So as I said, the first thing we're going to talk about is profitability and competitiveness with a gender diverse workforce. So the first thing that we discovered that if you have a gender diverse workforce, you're going to identify more new revenue generating paths. You're also going to advance innovation in industries that are not so willing to innovate. You're going to increase transparency to build stakeholder trust. Next slide, please. So you're going to see that companies with the highest percentage of women in management were 45% more profitable than companies with the lowest percentage of women in management. Kind of digest that. These are great stories to be able to tell as we move forward. So the next piece we're going to touch on is gender diversity's contribution to environmental sustainability. So what we've discovered is consumers and investors are seeking environmental factors in their purchases and investment choices. So what that does is it to the industry, it has an impact on revenue. It reduces their legal compliance costs, and it makes them long-term financial viability is more stable because of the environmental issues that are being brought to the forefront. It also helps industry respond to regulatory pressures and societal backlash against pollution, as well as advancing greener production processes. So the decreased environmental impact with an increase in gender diversity on the boards of directors have reduced energy intensity consumption by 60%, greenhouse gas emission improvement of 39%, and water intensity improvement of 46%. And this was over a 2-year study period. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is corporate social responsibility and the impact that gender diversity has on that. So we're looking at protecting safety and labor rights, integrating businesses into supply chain, understanding the relationship that exists with the companies that you have right within your own community. This has a big impact on labor rights within your own community. We're going to also talk about integrating community development into business strategies, supporting social development projects. We need to communicate more with the public, not only about the process improvements that we might have going on in our industries, but also about the benefits your specific industry can have on society. So if you happen to work in a steel manufacturing industry, you might have a new process that you would want to communicate about. But in addition to that, the public forgets what steel has an impact to society, right? Builds cars, builds airplanes, builds desks, builds a number of different things. So communicating that is very important. And then we're going to look at building local capacity and empowering women. This particularly on the engineering side, we forget the human element in every machine. Someone has to run that machine. Even if it's a robotics driven issue, someone is still running those machines. So corporate social responsibility. Companies with the highest percentage of women on their boards of directors have a rating of their corporate responsibility performance 74% higher than those with the lowest percentage of women on boards. Huge, huge numbers. The last thing that we're going to talk about is creating inclusive corporate and industry cultures with gender diversity. So we're talking about creating inclusive corporate cultures from the top down. Make every employee feel that they have a voice and a seat at the table. Promoting inclusive industry cultures, creating an environment that there are people that look like me in it. Women in leadership, women, minorities on board in the innovative teams, whatever that might be, people that look like me. Advocating for greater diversity and inclusion. So develop leaders from within our own workforce and support them on their journey in leadership. I don't think the next slide is going to be a surprise to many of you, but it's good that the data has confirmed this. So what are the major inhibitors for greater gender diversity in the male-dominated industries that we talked about? And I don't think these are much different in other industries either. So that retention challenge related to work-life balance was the winner. These top 6 are all in play. Unwelcoming corporate culture for women, 57%.
Hello.
Retention challenges related to perceived lack of career mobility. And I really want to highlight that word perceived. So 40%. Negative industry image, 39%. Gender imbalance in STEM education, 36%. And difficulty in re-entering industry after taking a parental or caregiving leave at 35%. So these are the challenges that need to be overcome. I thought with those in mind, let's look at 3 key factors that were shared by companies that have a really strong inclusive culture. So they are a top-down commitment to building a diverse workforce and creating an inclusive culture. Those include 0 tolerances for bullying or sexual harassment and a clear set of anti-harassment policies. Another one takes a holistic and systematic approach to women's representation, consisting of measures that ensure equal access to hiring and promotion opportunities at different levels and engaging employees, both men and women, through the implementation process. Another one set transparent targets and roadmaps for increased female employment and leadership, which are key to shifting that corporate culture away from words and toward actions. And that enables the ongoing measurement of the effectiveness of new policies. I'm a numbers girl. I'm a CPA by trade. So you also all know that if you can't measure it, it won't happen. So keep that in mind. I think the next slide. So the failure to increase the representation of women across male-dominated industries will limit their potential to innovate and transform for positive global impacts and to reap the financial and organizational dividends of a gender diverse workforce. So I want you to remember that diversity means diversity of thought, which equates to more success. Use the data to drive the change. I'm very excited that most of this data came from the Foreign Policy Analytics Group out of Washington, D.C. And they had interviewed a number of CWEEL members, actually, to compile their studies. So hope that was somewhat insightful. I don't want you to also forget that our male allies have got to work with us for us to accomplish this change, but the data certainly will help explaining to management the value of a gender diverse workforce. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. I head a data analytics team. The team that I head it does energy analytics, but I'm a data person also, and I'd be very interested in seeing the references or the source data for this, if that's something that you can share.
Sure.
But yeah, lots of eyes are on corporate social responsibilities these days and sustainability. And this is just all the more reason to make sure that you have a diverse leadership and executive team. So thank you for that. I wanted to share one more screen because what I'd like to do next is have some breakout rooms, which I don't know about everybody else, but those are usually my favorite parts of virtual meetings like these, where you have a chance to talk with people, with a smaller group of people. So what Andrea and I would really love is to get some feedback from everybody here about specifically what they want to get out of CWEEL. Who's your energy goddess that you would love to see speak at one of our meetings? Are you more interested in technical topics, career development, something else, community service? We could have a movie night. We're open to anything. If there are subgroups you'd like to start up, I think the New York group had a leadership subcommittee. Maybe we could have field specific or role specific subgroups. And please tell us if you'd like to volunteer in an area that you're good at or an area that you're bad at. As everyone could probably see, I could use some help with the website because I'm not very good at it. If anyone wants to manage the website or social media, that would be great. And again, logistics. Do you want to do virtual, in person? You have a favorite venue? Sounds like morning and lunchtime meetings are pretty popular, so we may try that next time. So I'm going to try my hand at creating breakout rooms. But before we do that, I do want to take one group photo while we have most of the people still here. So if you're willing to turn on your camera, please do so. I'm going to see if I can change this to the gallery view. And wow, look at all these people. 2 screens. Oh, I'm so excited. There's 27 people here today. So if you don't mind holding that smile for just a minute. I've got one shot. I'm going to paste it in to my Word document. And let me get one other screenshot. All right, I think we're good. I can frown now. So with that, I'm gonna do some breakout rooms. Let's see, we have 26 people here. So what do we think? 5 people in a breakout room, and it's holy moly, it's 8:20 already. So maybe we'll talk for 10 minutes, and then we'll reconvene and just do a little recap, and then we'll be off with our evenings. I wanted to run through just a couple other things that we had in these slides, Andrea. Let me share my screen so we make sure to say thank you to everyone that we want to thank and cover everything that we want to cover. Can you see my my slides here?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So Andrea is going to close us out.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks everyone. I know it's already been a little over an hour or so, and I think we touched on a lot of these things, but yeah, thanks for taking a time out of your evening. I found it like super energizing. I haven't been this awake at 8:30 in the evening in a long time. So yeah, I think we're gonna follow up with like a survey to get some ideas and feedback, and but if there's anything in your breakout room that struck you that you want to share in the chat or in the survey, or just reach out to Hadass or I, that would be great. We talked about membership and sponsorship, and we're definitely looking for some folks to help us plan events and just provide some ideas for both the professional development and maybe some of the more fun stuff. So you can go to the next slide, Hadass. Yeah, so many people to thank. A lot of them are on the call. So in the interest of time, I won't go through all these people, but I just, you know who you are, and thanks so much for all the help that you have given us. And thank you. So yeah, share your ideas if you have some that came of your own or that came up tonight. Just yeah, and let us know, like, like Laurie was saying, how much or how little you'd like to participate. And I think the next slide has the contact information. Is that true?
It does.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. So yeah, so if you use that info at CWEELnewengland.org, that goes to Hadass and I. So that's a great way to get in touch with both of us. And as we build out our advisory committee, we'll add some names to that distribution list. But yeah, so I don't know if Adam has anything to say from like the AE chapter, or if you have anything else, Hadass. Otherwise, we'll just say thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Did you want to say anything, Adam, to put you completely on the spot?
Yeah.
Late in the evening.
No, great event. Great to see all this activity. And
yeah.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming. Some amazing ideas in the breakout session, and I can't wait to hear everyone else's ideas. Everything that we came up with times 5. I'm very excited for some programming that we can put together this year. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Hadass.
Well, thank you everyone for coming, and we'll be in touch, and hopefully we'll all meet again in the not too distant future.